Maxim Plant is a cafe located in Itaewon, Central Seoul. The building looks no different from other well-decorated cafes in the area with baristas, comfy seats. But hidden inside Maxim Plant are features that cannot be found anywhere else, including a roasting room that produces 24 different coffee blends. The cafe takes its name from Korea's most consumed instant coffee brand, Maxim. But why did an instant coffee brand build a huge cafe in Central Seoul? Maxim was the first to build a coffee factory in Korea in 1970, at the time in partnership with US company Maxwell House. Before the spread of instant coffee, the drink was mainly reserved for the elite. But instant coffee powder lowered the barrier for the general public thanks to its lower prices and ease of use, requiring nothing more than hot water. It flowed into many cafes which Koreans called tabang. From the 1950s to 1990s, tabangs played the role of cafes today, not only as a place to drink coffee, but as the go-to place for meeting with friends or colleagues. Maxim's instant coffee was first released in jars. The coffee powder, sugar, and prime or creamer all came in separate jars, so cafes had to mix them in the right proportions to make their drinks. Instant coffee sticks released in the 1980s initially targeted at mountain climbers or outdoor sports enthusiasts. Each sachet contained the right amount of coffee, sugar, and milk powder so that people wouldn't have to carry large jars around with them. But Maxim's coffee stick coffee sales exploded in the late 1990s. Firstly, the popularity of water purifiers meant that most Koreans had access to instant hot water at home. Then, the IMF economic crisis led to layoffs of a lot of support staff in offices, the exact people that had been in charge of making the coffee. This increased the popularity for simpler products that could help office workers make mixed coffee of perfect proportions without knowing the ratios necessary to use separate jars. But in the 2000s, Korean consumers' taste changed. There was more awareness of the amount of sugar that goes into the sachets. Franchises like Starbucks also started to take up a larger part of Koreans' coffee drinking culture. Cafes for Koreans are not just for buying coffee, they are a place to spend quality time outside of one's home and the office. The increase of coffee franchises also resulted in a preference for black coffee over sweet coffee. To cope with this trend change, Maxim's parent company Dongsuh Foods released another instant coffee brand, Canoe, in 2011. This time, it wasn't mixed coffee, it was a powdered black coffee. Canoe's slogan was "A small cafe in your palm." Maxim Plant is another attempt by the brand to emphasize its expertise. The space may seem like a typical cafe in the area, but the details reflect bits and pieces of Maxim's history as Korea's oldest coffee maker, including coffee-related books and coffee brewed on the spot.
여기 근처에 알바를 하는 데도 있기도 하고 작업을 카페에서 자주 해서 자주 옵니다. 이 장소에 왔을 때 그런 기존의 맥심의 아이덴티티가 딱 느껴지는 것 같지는 않아요. 이 카페는 좀 힙하다고 해야 되나? 그런 느낌도 있고 좀 모던한 느낌이 강해서.
One of the most interesting parts of Maxim Plant is its roasting room, where 9 coffee beans of different origins are stored, roasted, and packaged into 24 different blends. The facility is a miniature version of Maxim's factories in Incheon and Changwon. Fresh coffee beans are first stored in cylinders. Once a blend is selected for production, a bowl moves around the cylinders to mix different beans according to the recipe. Then the beans are roasted, cooled down, filtered to eliminate impurities, ground, and put into individual packages.
아무래도 스타벅스나 이디야 이런 곳에 가면 블렌드 선택지가 그렇게 다양하지도 않고 모든 공간이 획일화되어 있는데 맥심 플랜트는 그에 비해 의자나 다양한 소파 같은 거부터 블렌드를 선택하면서 거기에 맞는 글귀나 아니면 음악도 추천해주는 큐레이션 시스템 같은 것 때문에 좀 더 저한테 집중할 수 있고 요즘 사람들이 좋아하는 트렌드에 맞는 공간이라 SNS에도 되게 올리기 좋은 곳인 것 같아요.